Okay, so let me tell you where I'm at on my quitting smoking journey. Once again. Okay, so in the previous video, I told you about my girlfriend starting to vape 3 weeks ago, not even smoking anymore. 4 days without a cigarette. Solid. Not even trying to quit smoking, just used it as a substitute because she couldn't take smoke breaks at work anymore. So she just starts, and next thing you know, she's not smoking anymore. Pack and a half a day, or at least over a pack a day, I should say, to none. So here I am thinking, you know what? I'm going to try to piggyback off of this a little bit, maybe a little bit of momentum. And as you know, I have previously tried to quit smoking using the vaping thing. You know, I was going to try to step down from smoking to vaping to lowering nicotine until I was done with the vaping and just be done with all of it. But my approach was wrong. And this might apply to you. If you're somebody like me who has tried to quit smoking using vaping but couldn't quite get there, maybe you made the same mistake I did. And let me tell you what I'm doing now that seems to be helping. When I tried to attempt to replace smoking with vaping in the past, I always tried to replicate the cigarette experience. I would buy tobacco flavored vapes. I would buy disposables that were shaped like cigarettes. I would just try to get as close to smoking as I possibly could because that's what I wanted. I wanted that smoking feel. If I couldn't get something that looked shaped like a cigarette, what's that one? Juul that was close enough to where I could kind of just hold it in my fingers like this. But anyway, ultimately that failed. And the mistake that I was making was so obvious and I just couldn't see it. I was trying to replicate smoking. You can't do that with a vape. You know, when you're smoking a cigarette, when you're burning with flame, an organic compound, plant matter, you're never going to get the same taste, you're never going to get the same hit, the feel as you do with a vape. It's just impossible to replicate. And similar to like if you're painting your house, you know, or painting a picture or whatever it is, if you use one paint color like a blue, and then you put another paint color right next to it that's just you tried to replicate the same blue but didn't quite get quite it wasn't exact. I can't talk. It looks worse than if you would have just completely changed the color altogether. So the same with vaping, trying to get close to a cigarette but never being able to actually replicate it was just a losing battle. So what I've done is I've changed the ritual because I'm trying to change habits. I'm trying to change a really dirty, bad habit into something that's less dirty, you know, still not completely healthy, but not as dangerous as smoking cigarettes. Trying to switch to that vape instead of picking something that is exactly like a cigarette and just failing to replicate that experience. I went ahead and made the change. I got a device you hold in your palm like this, and I went for fruity flavors this time. I have a sour apple. I have a strawberry watermelon. You see, I think the mistake that I made before, I'm going to try not to repeat again. I'm going to change the habit and acknowledge that I'm changing the habit and moving into something different. Now, I bought my vape about a week ago, and I've gone from smoking right at a pack a day to about a half a pack a day now. And once again, becoming a little more disgusted by cigarettes because when I take a hit off a vape, it's a lot cleaner, you know, than it is when you smoke a cigarette. So it's just an entirely different experience, and it's making me realize how nasty that cigarette really is. So there's times where if I have a craving and I want a cigarette, I'll just go hit the vape first. And usually that's plenty enough to suffice. I'll take a few hits off the vape. I'm fine. Sometimes I still just need that cigarette with my morning coffee. One of the hardest habits I'm ever going to try to break. I always smoke cigarettes with my coffee in the morning. A fruit flavored vape and coffee, they don't go good together. They don't go good together. But that's a habit I'm going to have to work on. That's going to be one of the biggest triggers for me I have to work on. Bottom line, I am smoking less and I'm okay with it. So this is the attempt that I'm working on now is just I'm changing my ritual, changing my habits, and we're just going to kind of see where it takes us. Where did it take my girlfriend? Again, she wasn't even trying, and she went from over a pack a day to nothing in 3 weeks. So I'm going to make the same type of attempt. Hopefully, I'm just going to slowly wean off cigarettes in the near term. and hopefully be done with them in a few weeks like she was, and maybe just be switched over to a vape. And then I can work on lowering the nicotine until I'm on zero nicotine. And then, if your body's not getting anything out of it, you're not really going to have those cravings. So I'm hoping to just wean. I'm hoping to switch habits, be done with cigarettes. Finally, I know I've said that a lot on this channel, but maybe we're finally getting there, because I hit a milestone age in life recently, and I don't want to continue being a smoker at this point, because I'm just exposing myself to risks that my body doesn't have the resiliency that it used to have. So I need to stop smoking. It's more than just I want to stop smoking. And of course, you always need to stop smoking, but I need to stop smoking. So we'll see if this works for me. I'll give you an update in the future. This has been the 3-part update, just letting you guys know how everything is going in life right now, where we're at with the quit smoking journey. And next video, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to try to put it out soon. Again, that's another thing that I say all the time, but I'm really trying to change my habits, trying to work on an identity change here, and just get back into the things that I want to do and stop being so anxious to do them. So if you made it through all 3 parts, thank you very much for checking them all out. If you just were here for this part, thank you for checking this part out. But I hope to see you again in the future, and we're just going to kind of go from there and see where we're at. Thank you.